Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're pretty excited to go and share some pretty nifty news that came out with the PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, as you guys may or may not know, the PlayStation 5 is coming out this next week, and as well, some people are getting their early, like editions. Some people getting like hands-on, some random mom and pop stores may have some, maybe even DVD them on out. And we actually now have found a very special rework inside the console itself that is actually solving a lot of major problems. And also, if you guys missed our video yesterday, talk about the fact of how this PlayStation 5 Pro is most likely going to last like 10 plus years, and we now found that one specific piece that will actually make sure that goes and happens. So we're going to go talk about this, break down the hardware, and overall, I'm very excited that this even was mentioned because this was never talked about in private, and I'm sure going to have a few more of these special one-time little unique things and unique changes that are coming to the PlayStation 5 Pro. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications onto the channel. And our second channel, we're going to probably start doing live streams and special videos over there. The two Twitters down below if you guys want to have bonus giveaway entries for PS5 Pro, or if you just want to go pick one up and buy one yourself. Make sure you guys go and use the affiliate links down below. Leave a like, your thoughts down below, and without selling out enough, let's go and dive on into the video itself. So to be very, very blunt, this is some very, very cool technology in regards now to a brand new internal change when it comes to the CMOS battery. Now, I'm going to try to go explain to you guys why this is kind of cool. It's not like the biggest, craziest, PSSR, the world is changing, best integration graphics, 8K, 26K is coming, but it's still a very, very nice quality of life update that kind of once again reassures us that the future of this console is not for naught. So basically, the PlayStation 5 Pro might have a slot to change the CMOS battery, and this is a brand new welcome change that most people weren't really expecting. So it might be, I'm going to kind of go through the article itself, I'm going to yap into it, but might be keen on picking up the PS5 Pro. The new console model is heading our way in the marketplace in the next week. However, you might be surprised to see that one revision could make changing the CMOS battery even easier than before. So if you guys don't really know what a CMOS battery is, so let me give you guys, the rundown of what it kind of is. So basically, it's a very, very small, somewhat higher end battery that is usually basically found on something's motherboard. And this is basically the CMOS chip, which basically stores very important system information such as the date, time, and hardware settings in the CMOS battery. And in case you guys are curious, here's more of the reason of what it is. Saying PS5 Pro apparently has an easy access to replace the CMOS battery with the PlayStation 5 hardware rework. Saying the Pro cannot stop winning right over here. So what this is let's say you have, it's going to be a few different examples, but namely for the PlayStation, if this CMOS battery dies in your console is done, kaput, over, forever. It's gone zone, my dude. Because what it kind of looks at, as you guys can tell by the very brief description, it's the system information, the system settings on your console. And that is entirely a big controversial take. About a year ago or so, people are curious about the ticking time bomb of the CMOS battery in the PlayStation 5 or the PS5, PS4. Because if this battery, which is basically highlighted right here, and this is why it's a win, the high level of this video is it's very easily replaceable on the upcoming PS5 Pro. If for some odd reason, way down the line for your console, a random issue, storage issue, it was overheated, whatever it might be, whatever small issue might happen, or just over time, because sometimes batteries just die over time. They kind of degrade. That happens actually a lot with Pokemon. Basically, the old school Pokemon disc would have a CMOS battery where you would basically never be able to go launch your Pokemon ever again, because after 20, 30 years, the battery just dies, goes kaput. It's just how it is, how just technology is. So basically, right now, they integrated this into the PS5 Pro. And now that people are basically taking apart the PS5 Pros and doing their hardware reviews and figuring out, it's very easily replaceable. So I'm kind of getting off the track a little bit. The idea behind this is that the CMOS battery, if it dies, your console's done. That's how it is. And the main issue too is with a lot of games right now on say the PlayStation, you need to have that digital connection to make sure your console can be always connected online, and that's how you kind of verify your license and other various proof of purchases for your console as a whole. And if you guys remember, maybe about a month ago or so, the PlayStation Network was fully offline, as in 100% not able to be even played and accessed. And basically when you try to go launch online, it would say you don't have the rights to the licenses for your console, even if you bought it, even if you own it, and in some cases, even if you had the physical disc, you are not able to put that into your PS5 console and launch it. And that right there is exactly what would happen if your CMOS battery dies in your PlayStation console, or in other various things. Like this is also in like laptops, also in say other consoles, or once again, as I mentioned, things like Pokemon old school, those big square drives that were maybe on the Game Boy SP or Game Boy itself as a whole. So the idea behind the CMOS battery is probably the most integral part for the long-term preservation of your console itself as a whole. So basically they had a screenshot from Reddit, but it always also other screenshots like this too as well, which is an actual internal of the PS5 Pro. You guys can even see the 3 little line and slashes on it. The hard drive thing, which also is there as well. So these are hidden surprises. This is a hidden actual surprise, because this basically means that your PS5 Pro, if there's any reasons and issues with the CMOS battery, will be a long-term console and it will work. Basically showcase over here that there is a new slot on the PS5 Pro that did not exist in the PS5. Players are now speculating that this slot will allow users to swap out CMOS batteries if they ever have to. That's a big win in a lot of players' books and shows that Sony might be taking note of issues that could become problematic years down the road for these console units. Like I said, if the CMOS battery dies, gets destroyed or hurt, you may not be able to go run your console. This is for the PS4 and PS5 already. You may not be able to go and even launch your console and have an online connection. There may be no way for you to go play any game that you have owned or even downloaded, because due to the online connection with your console, it is not able to be reciprocated. It will not be able to go and verify that you bought it. Your console at that point is dead on arrival. There is nothing there for it. Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. There's a lot of people are saying this is a big win because, as I mentioned, there is a 10-year plan where even the Sony executives in a big interview yesterday, we made a video on this, basically went and talked about the fact that their console is meant to exist for 10 plus years. They want to make sure this console is a long-term supported console on the day-to-day life in terms of brand new games, brand new game developments, and all of that. Like, that is the big deal. They want to make sure if you buy the PS5 Pro, you will not regret it, and it's going to be okay, which I think is awesome. That's good on PlayStation to do. And they're also saying too as well, we're gonna have to wait to go and see in these console units, and ideally there's no issues. But as they mentioned a few years ago, as I started this video on, there were plenty of reports about players being potentially locked out of their consoles if their CMOS batteries went bad, as I covered before. We even covered at the time a few years back, if you guys remember. And that was reportedly later resolved in an update, but it would still mean having to go through a few heaps to replace the battery, especially if you're not tech savvy. So in theory, all of us making those YouTube videos and articles and tweets and everything a few years back may have actually went and incentivize PlayStation to add this brand new update. This is technically a secret update that they did not talk about. They did not mention this until we're now finally figuring out that people have these hands-on versions of the PS5 Pros. This is a win. It's almost like when no one knew about the SSD internally in your console, or even the idea of a slidable game disc, the game covers or whatever. This is a win. This is an absolute massive win in my mind. This is awesome that PlayStation even did this in the first place. This is awesome. So once again, super cool stuff. So the CMOS battery is vital to consoles, as I mentioned, as it aids in storing various core information like your system clock, and without this battery, players might be limited in some console functions. So basically saying if this died 10 years down the road, your console is a dud. And this has happened. Like, people have actually had this happen to their prior generation consoles. And once again, the Pokemon disc. A good example, as I mentioned like 2 times, Pokemon old school, like those big square cartridges, would have a CMOS battery. And that is where they would store like your save data, essentially, to know where your console is. And like basically like just regurgitating that your console exists, like your Game Boy exists back then. And throughout the years, people's Pokemon have been completely just being wiped. Like, you cannot use the game disc anymore, the little game squares, if you guys remember. Because back then, people, like, this was just a small thing that they weren't really sure was going to happen 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. And although there is a still big retro gaming sphere, and that's why people always enjoy physical games and like the idea behind these games, because it's a big deal nonetheless. So this is dope. This is a hidden update that no one knew was going to come out here, and I do think a lot of people are very, very excited for this. And I want to know if you guys are excited too as well. Now, this isn't, once again, some crazy game-changing thing like PSSR. We're going to be having brand new AI integrations, and the console's this crazy next-level thing, and oh my god, I can't wait to go and look at all my pixels. But this is a nice thing that once again supports the theory of your PS5 Pro will be worthwhile 10 plus years down the road. So I think this is cool. It's hidden, but it's nice, and I like to see this. So give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We do have all the giveaway links down below if you guys want to subscribe here, the second channel, and all the other various links too, as well, the Twitters and the Twitch for bonus entries. And of course, if you guys want to pick up your PS5 Pro, I do keep on mentioning the links down below for all the PS5 Pros if you guys want to support me or pick one up yourself. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place. Give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below.